Hello friends, now let us take up the concept number 11, 13.11 constants in interfaces. As I explained to you already, an interface can have only two types of members. The first type is constant fields, second type is prototypes of instance methods. No implementations of the method should be provided. Now let us focus on the constants. Already I explained all these points. Once again we review that and then proceed. Actually, whatever fields we are declaring as constant should be public, static and final. Do not use word variable. Variable means you may be confused because constant and variable are two opposite words. That is why your brain does not allow you. That is why call them fields. The fields type should be public, static means class type, and they are final. They must be constants. It is mandatory. You do not have any option. If you want to change them, also you cannot do that in case of interfaces. That point you must remember. Yeah, these are constants. We must initialize them. Otherwise, compiler reports an error. That means, without initializing constants, we cannot complete the declaration. That point you must remember. Whenever an interface is extended, that means a sub interface is created, whatever constants are defined in the super interface are inherited to sub interface. Obviously, there is no confusion in that. Actually, here one issue is there. The same name is used in super interface and sub interface, naming conflict will come. In such case, the sub interface constant hides the constant of super interface. That point you remember, regardless of type. Suppose it may be integer in super interface, integer a, and in sub interface double a, name is same. In such case, sub interface constant hides the super interface constant of the same name. That point you have to remember. In such case, what should we do? Actually, the names are not same. In sub interface, we can use the constant of super interface with the simple names. Whatever name is there, in sub interface we can use the same name, because sub interfaces are obviously inherited all the constants of super interface. But in case of same name and all that, how can you use the name, the constant of the super interface having the same name? By fully qualified name. Qualified name means super interface name dot that name. If you can use super interface constant also. That point you have to understand. And as these are public, any client can use these constants. In such case, in simple name will not do. You must use fully qualified name. Fully qualified name is interface name dot constant name. If there is any path, entire path you should use. That point you must remember. Then only other clients who want to use the constants of the interface can be used. This simple logic. Suppose some Kumar is there as a student in a college. Then Kumar means in the entire college there may be 10 Kumars. Then how can you address a specific Kumar? Suppose he is in the 10th class, he is in the 10th class B section. In B section also 3 Kumars are there. In such case, how can you address them? Then 10th class, B section, in that A Kumar, F Kumar and C Kumar are there. Then in such case, if you want A Kumar, 10th class, B section, A Kumar. Like that, complete path if you give, then only that is called fully qualified name. There is no confusion at all. 10th class, B section, A. Kumar, that is fully qualified name. In the constants also, whenever naming conflicts are created, then you have to use fully qualified name. And any client wants to use the constant of any interface, then they have to use fully qualified name. That point you have to remember. These things and all that, once you take up a program, very easily you can understand. Okay. However, finally, one demo I am giving, that is 13.C. It deals with the interface and constants, and let us see that. In this, I have used a console class for reading the data from the keyboard. That is why I imported Java IO package. This point already explained in the first chapter, project zone. There, if you want, you can refer that, or otherwise in the next module we go to IOs, and there also I will explain. I will explain. Suppose if I explain this and all that, we are distracted from the main task. Okay. Now we see here constant demo, double pi I initialized. Actually, what should be before? Public static final. These are implicitly applicable, you need not write. Okay. Thereafter, one more constant we are writing, that is string reference, area units. As it is a constant, I wrote in upper cases. Area units, square centimeters. Square centimeters actually square centimeters, after calculating units and all that, then we have to suffix it, then only people can understand whether they are square centimeters or cubic centimeters or normal centimeters. That is why area units square centimeters, length units centimeters, that we are doing. Actually, here you have to understand how these are being implemented, what is the great purpose and all that, do not think of. In case of some programs, to establish concept, to convince you on the concept, we give demos. You have to understand the reason. Now you see constant demo. In these three constants we have defined. Okay, one is double type, other one is, other two are string type. And here you see, you can use comma, put comma and write like that. Otherwise, one more string we define. Then in such case, what you do? Because I am showing you all the alternatives, whichever is convenient, whichever you like, that you can use. Here you see public cylinder demo. Cylinder demo implements implements this constant demo. This is the interface, this is the concrete class. In that, what you are main you are defining, and console already I told you, for reading the data from keyboard we are writing. Here radius and height we are writing, and here see we are reading enter radius, enter height. Then these are stored in that these are stored in that, and radius and height, the values whatever you read from keyboard are stored here, and thereafter we are writing them, and then face area is equal to pi into radius into radius, then we are writing, then ultimately with the units, that is square centimeters and centimeters, they are printed. So, in this way, in order to consolidate your knowledge, you must write simple test. Test programs are like this only. You need not think of a bigger domain and a relevant domain and all that. Once you get command over the concepts and its application, whenever you want to take up a project, all this information, all this knowledge will help you to develop projects very easily. Otherwise, you have to struggle to implement this type of things and all that. Again, you have to make a research, you have to study that, you have to learn them, then you are distracted, you are tired. That is why first why I am focusing on each and every concept so deeply, you must understand, and the same spirit you digest and implement in your study. Then only you can achieve perfect command over each and every concept in the subject.